Hello, YouTube world. From me, Gordon Causey, and from Candy, the treat grabbing wonder pup. A little sip of my coffee. And as always, Candy is here. Anyone who's watched any of my videos knows this. That's how they start. Shake a paw, lay down. Good. Come on up. I'm almost out of treats. I have to pick some up tomorrow. So she's getting little scrudskles. I wanted to do a quick video talking about this song, Rich North of Richmond, by this singer, Anthony Oliver, young guy. But before I do, like, share, subscribe, hit the button, you know, all the things that people say. I'm no different from anyone else. I do get little endorphin, dopamine, whatever it is, whatever that little chemical in the brain is that you get from engagement. Yeah, I'm guilty. I try to be aware of it and try not to let it affect me too much, but to say it has no impact whatsoever would be a lie. And I try and I endeavor to be genuine and honest. And so I do like them. Anyway, I wasn't planning on doing this video, but because I did a video yesterday and that one centered on Jordan Peterson and just my impressions of the man and such. And I just watched him interview this young singer who I thought was 20 or so, and it turns out he's 31, I think. The way Google works and the way the algorithms work is then a station like YouTube starts giving you content based on your previous viewing or previous, I typed in Anthony Oliver, Anthony Rich North of Richmond. And so now I'm getting all kinds of videos related to his song, and it opened my eyes to something that I was only marginally aware of. I have seen reaction videos before, people who do it on Facebook, they do it here on YouTube, where they show they'll have a music video or a scene from a movie or television show or something like that. And then usually down the box, their reaction is very small and you get to see how they're reacting to it. And I always thought, talk about narcissism, which everyone's guilty of. We all have an element of narcissism. And just going to throw something out there just because I don't think, within the last few days, I've used the word a few times and I asked, you know what that means? And I've been told, especially by some younger people, they go, not really. I kind of have an idea, but they're not really overly familiar with this term, narcissism. It means self-love, but I think it helps to know the history of it. It comes from ancient Greece and a character called Narcissus, who I think it comes from a play, a Greek play, a tragedy. I'm assuming it's a tragedy, where a young man, apparently exceedingly good looking, like a portrait of Dorian Gray, to throw in another reference. But anyways, an exceedingly good looking young man, but being ancient Greece, and he's living in the wilderness in the country in a rural setting, and he doesn't have access to a mirror. One day he goes walking by a pond, a shimmering pond, perfectly still, and he sees his reflection, his image in the water below. And he is so enamored with his own reflection that he stands there just staring at it, and eventually, I believe he eventually dies. So that's what narcissism means. A little sidetrack. And it just struck me that the degree to which people putting out videos to show this is my reaction to whatever. But now I found through this song, through having watched it, and then YouTube having, down the side there, we all know how it works. All these videos to look at, and so many of them were people giving their impressions of the song and what they think about it. And I did. I watched some of them. I was curious. There was one done by a young black gentleman, and I thought, I wonder, how a black American might react to this song. Another one was of a Christian gentleman. I went, I wonder how a Christian. And it occurred to me in looking at this, and I'm seeing now that this is something of an industry. These individuals, this is what they do. And this one young black gentleman down in the United States, apparently that's what his channel is about. It's about his reactions to varying things, be it music or videos, I guess. And I'm not doing this video to tell you my reaction to the song. I think I gave it in the last video. I think it's a cool tune. Yeah, so something of an anthem, sure. And at first, the first time I heard it, I just went, yeah, that's nice. You guys got a good voice, soulful, good voice. And I enjoy guitar music. I enjoy simple. And so, it struck me as a powerful, good song, but nothing earth-shattering. But now I see it almost, and I question this, the degree to which the degree to which something blows up, is it organic, or or does it blow up because it's manufactured? This term opinion leaders, and I think there are a lot of individuals now. We live in such a polarized world, and I genuinely do think that there are people who are concerned, is it okay for me to like this song? Or should I not like this song? It's like J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books. She was later vilified for being transphobic or something. She was referred to, it was the first time I heard the term TERF, transphobic radical feminist or something like that. And so all of a sudden now, if you want to be seen by the mob as having the right opinion, as being virtuous, that you better find out how you respond to something. And I don't think that's productive. I don't think that's healthy. Whether you like something or not, it should be on your own terms, not because of being programmed to think that way. But I think, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And actually, within the lyrics of that very song, it kind of speaks to that reality. And I looked upon the rich men, or the rich man north of Richmond. Richmond is almost metaphorical. And it's interesting, I think that Richmond was the capital city of the old Confederate States of America during the American Revolution, not the Revolutionary, but rather the Civil War. During the American Civil War, Richmond, I believe, was the capital of the South, of the Southern Confederacy. You had the United States of America, and then you had a number of Southern states that broke away, and they formed a separate country called the Confederate States of America, the CSA, and I believe Richmond was the capital, but I see that as metaphorical, the same way the Jordan River can be used metaphorically, crossing the Jordan River into the Promised Land. The rich north of Richmond, so metaphorically speaking, the North is, they want to know what you say, they want to know what you think. And not only that, not only do they want to know what you say and know what you think, they want to program you what to say, and they want to program you what to think. So it's somewhat ironic. We have a song talking about this control element of this metaphorical, powerful class, wanting to know what you say and know what you think. And yet, at the same time, this song, it strikes me, they're reaching out to social media networks and channels to find out, what am I supposed to say about this song? What am I supposed to think about this song? And it's the ultimate irony. one of many ultimate ironies. Yeah, the lyrics. The one thing I did find interesting was his turn of phrase, the way he pronounces certain words like "ain't." I notice he puts almost an indiscernible H, haint, instead of ain't. It almost sounds like haint. I put up the lyrics here just to see. Well, I'm working. Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay. So I can just sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with a whole soul. And again, it seems like on the vowel sounds, he puts an H in front, which I find curious. Language interests me. And that's something that happens on Canada's East Coast, particularly in Newfoundland. They put the Newfoundlanders will sometimes put an H on words that don't have it, like ice becomes heis. And a word that does take the H drops it. I'm going home to get some heis. And I just wonder about that, where it comes from. I think probably the people of Appalachia or Appalachia, depending on how you want to pronounce it. He's from Virginia. I think they have a similar demographic, similar ancestral makeup. People who came from the British Isles, from England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, a lot of Irish, a lot of Scottish. And so maybe that's got something to do with it. But that's sidetracking. But I don't understand what it is with this world sometimes. And yet here I am, another irony. I'm kind of playing into it. I'm talking about it too. So it is what it is. The video that I was thinking of doing, and I'll do it either tomorrow or being Thursday, although it is Thursday now, it's September 14th now. So I'll either do it late this evening or Friday night. I mean, for me, it's still Wednesday until I wake up and until I go to bed and then wake up. That's when the next day starts. So even though it's 12:58 and technically Thursday, in my mind, it's still Wednesday. But what the video I was thinking of doing was on the fact that, I mean, getting back to the COVID era, that hasn't ended. Canada, within the last day or two, joined with the United States and with the European Medical Agency or Authority, the EMA. Seems like all the regulatory bodies around the world, over 50% funded by the pharmaceutical industry itself. So no shock, they've all approved the latest iteration of the COVID jabs. This one that is supposedly targets XBB.1.5, this derivative of Omicron that's now, and so they've all approved it, which no one fell off their chair. Everyone fully expected them to approve it. I think you'd have to be addled and ignorant beyond belief to think that there was ever any chance they would not be approved. You would see, and I went through a CBC News article that was sucking and blowing in one sentence, making it appear as though there was a possibility that the shots might not be approved, but in the same time, later in the article, talking about them like it's already a done deal and they're just waiting to throw a rubber stamp on it. I think we all know it was a rubber stamp that was waited for. I do think they came out even a little bit faster than what we'd been programmed to believe would happen. And I want to talk about that and about Theresa Tam has now gave a press conference within the last 24 hours or so, telling people to get their masks ready. If you haven't got one already, get your masks ready. So I think things are going to start to move fast and furious. How fast, how furious, Time will tell. Is anything? We're playing whack-a-mole in today's world, and this Oliver Anthony song. Is it something of a distraction? I wouldn't. Something to focus on other than the old sleight of hand. Look over here. Don't look over here. Things are changing rapidly. In today's world, there's so much going on. We have Kim Jong-il, the dictator in North Korea, has been meeting with Vladimir Putin, and Putin has now reciprocated and said that he will visit North Korea, and what implications that have, because apparently, at least the way it's being reported, is that the North Koreans are now going to be backing Russia in their conflict with Ukraine. And then there's talk of the Chinese saying that the Americans, that the United States of America, the Biden administration, has crossed something of a red line in providing $80 million worth of funding, military aid toward Taiwan. And China regards Taiwan as part of China. They don't recognize Taiwan as a autonomous, independent nation. They can still consider that China regards Taiwan the same way that the United States regarded the Confederate States of America. They were regarded as, when the southern states seceded from the United States of America, the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln's government, refused to recognize it. They said that the American Union was indissoluble. You cannot just walk away from it. And that's the way, in a nutshell, that's the way I believe China regards Taiwan. Taiwan has set itself up independently, but China is always regarded as being part of China. And so now with the Chinese saying that the Americans have crossed a red line, going back to my 3 predictions made on April 30th, one, which still hasn't come to fruition, it still hasn't happened. I said that I expected there to be the declaration of a global health, or rather a global climate emergency, maybe a declaration of a war on climate change. I said I expected that to happen before September 21st, before the summer ended. And we're now 7 days away, and it still hasn't happened. It doesn't take long, it just takes a stroke of a pen. So we'll see if that happens. Second one was for the fall, and talking about a reemergence, or a new declaration of a health emergency surrounded around COVID, flu, RSV, maybe all 3, maybe throw in something else like a Marburg, or this, I forget what it was called, Crimean hemorrhagic fever or something, who knows? And maybe there's something else on the periphery, something more obscure that hasn't come out yet, who knows? And then the final of the 3 predictions was this conflict between Russia and Ukraine either expanding, or the potential for another conflict to break out. And one of the ones I mentioned in that video was the potential for China and Taiwan, or conversely, maybe something in the Middle East, which always seems to be a powder keg. But anyway, I'm going to keep it short tonight. Keep it under 20 minutes, as has been suggested to me by many. So I'll do that. So I'll ask you again to like, if you like, please share, subscribe. Maybe I can get up. I think I'm at 128 or 129. Unbelievable for a miserable, pathetic channel, unmonetized. I'm just trying to inject my voice into the public discourse. That's how I always frame it, and that's what it is. I do think I have things that are worthwhile to say, and so this is my way of putting them out there. And if you like what I'm saying, and if you do think it has value, please like, share, subscribe. Helps me out. So God bless, and we'll talk to you tomorrow or the next day. Talk soon.